r/datingoverforty. Canada True North says, can people truly not be in the right spot for a relationship, or is that just an excuse? I'm 40 female, have been seeing a man for about 2 months. We have a great emotional and physical connection. We have a lot in common, shared interests and values. We have committed to openly communicating, and even though it has been a short amount of time in the grand scheme of things, we both have felt safe sharing how we feel with each other. After about 5 weeks, he and I mutually decided to become exclusive. He has kids, and 50 over 50 custody of them, so we generally see each other in person about 2 times per week. Every other day we check in with each other about how our day is going, and we try to do virtual dates frequently when we can't see each other in person. Over the past 2 weeks, he has recently become more active with interviewing for new jobs. He also just recently closed on a house that needs some work and repairs done. On top of those 2 things and his kids and Christmas bearing down on us, he has stated that he feels a bit overwhelmed. This week, 3 days after we had a wonderful time together where we discussed that we were happy with the pace things were moving at and where we were in the relationship, he tells me kind of out of the blue that with everything going on, he thinks he may not be in the right spot for the relationship to be right. This past week he said he has been more tired and distracted with his kids and he doesn't like feeling that way. And that he feels like he can't be everything he wants to be right now. I'm obviously sad, because I felt like we had been building something really good. Up to this point, he has always seemed to be genuine, honest and clear with his intentions. I've never had to question his feelings, or where he stood in the relationship. We had a conversation about it, and kind of left it to where we agreed that we didn't want to lose contact with each other, and we would both be open to reconnecting romantically if, and when time and space allows once things kind of settle down. For him. I'm not holding my breath, but is it possible that someone could have too much on their plate that takes priority, that they don't have the time or energy to invest, or be their best self in a relationship? Or do we think that this is just a bullshit excuse people use to let someone down easy? And if so, is it possible that someone can be totally normal and happy with a relationship and be done with it a few days later without having any behavior changes that would indicate them wanting out? Or are some people just that good at bullshitting and making themselves appear genuine and authentic? My gut wants to give him the benefit of the doubt. He doesn't like to half-ass anything, and has very committed to being a good dad, and that on top of house repairs, moving and interviewing I feel are valid things to be overwhelmed with. And perhaps he doesn't want to half-ass a relationship. Thoughts? Could he really be speaking and feeling truthfully, or do we think I got suckered? Trish says, my first thought was that this is a busy time of year, and especially if you have kids. You add one more thing and everything topples over. I like that he prioritizes his kids. I would give him the benefit of the doubt. Don't turn someone else away because of him, but keep in touch. Just Chubly says, 2 small months in, if you're not still feeling excitement, feeling happiness, if the relationship is a chore, it's over already. I'm a busy single mom. My partner is my oasis in the midst of chaos. Lopsidedal Phone 574 says, but this is life, no? So if anything will be happening, he will be overwhelmed each time and break up. Hagbard Shafto says, I guess it could be true for some, but if I was genuinely feeling connected to you, I would not see our relationship as an additional burden to manage, but as a source of support while I'm juggling the actual stresses in my life. I wouldn't hold my breath if I were you, but I hope I'm wrong. Swingsad27 says, that's been my point my entire life with dating. When you have a great connection, you don't run from it, you lean into it, and then actually helps you through the rough times. I take this as avoidant excuse making. And when someone pulls it on me, I assume they are out of my life, and I proceed without them. Burrofox00 says, wrong time, wrong place is legit, and it hurts so very much when you feel a really strong connection and see the great possibility of what it can be. But if you both aren't there at the same time, even though the chemistry is, it just ends up with hurt. 1000% I wish I met my recent ex 12 months later than I did. He was not ready, but tried anyway, and despite the strong pull I felt from him, he backed out, and in the end claims he was only looking for fun, but I know that was an excuse. He just wasn't ready. The timing wasn't right. Back to the universe I go, hoping my right time, right place soulmate finds me, lol. Nick 54321 says, don't wait for him. Someone who pulls away and ends things when the going gets tough isn't someone I'd want to be with. Life is constantly throwing stuff at us, and I'd bet this pattern would repeat. r/datingoverforty. Eclipse84 says, dating with cancer. First time posting on Reddit. I, 40F, never married, no kids, have cancer, however, it is managed/controlled, so I do work 40+ hours a week. I don't tell people outright until I get to know them. So, I haven't dated much at all for all past 14 years, maybe dated 3 guys. I have recently been thinking about my future, and I do want a romantic relationship. I actually always have wanted to be married, have kids, etc. I feel as if now, it's impossible. Everyone around me, married, active long-term relationships, and I've tried dating sites like eHarmony, Bumble and Coffee and Badgle. But once a guy finds out I have cancer, I'm ghosted or friend-zoned almost instantly, and I don't want to hide or deceive anyone about my life. I'm active, although I do like to eat, I enjoy gaming, anime, going out to bars, swimming, shopping, I'm tattooed, always enjoying life. Can anyone offer any advice? Catcher Alexandra says, I have severe, chronic and potentially deadly diseases and always tell before the first date. Almost always they are, weirdly, still interested. My suggestion is maybe, to do what I do, I get into detail and describe the disease, the cause, the treatment, the outlook, all the unknowns and some interesting issues, that is. I had to diagnose myself, what doctors don't understand about these diseases, and science behind it, and what my research shows about it. They tend to then see it more from an intellectually interesting perspective and even gives a chance for them to be thinkers and have ideas and questions, and once they understand the biology or science that you describe, they do realize that everyone is vulnerable to the same thing, so it is not just you. Also, since after hearing the word cancer most people may tune out, since they have their thoughts on what that means, you could go more into depth, so they have a better understanding of how it may be different in your case than what is generally assumed of the word cancer. JMLJBWC says, I'm really sorry. I'm a 4x cancer survivor. I've had one stint that required surgery in the last year and many other PET scans throughout my relationship with my boyfriend. We've been dating 9/10 months. He knew when we got together that I had had cancers and couldn't have children anymore. I have 3 teens. He also knew it was a possibility that I would have another cancer, and then I did, and he was there for me 100%. Cancer is a word everyone equates with death. It's not the case, and so many recover from it. I wonder if this is a verbiage and communication issue. If you've been successfully living with cancer for 20 years, are you doing treatments? Chemo? Radiation? Surgeries? Then it's not the same as someone newly diagnosed with a devastating prognosis. People live with autoimmune diseases, diabetes, etc. Those can be more debilitating and affect daily life than what it sounds like you battle with. I've been living with a chronic disease that I have under control and rarely affects my daily life. I travel, I'm social, and I do everything that anyone else not living with the disease does. Cancer is a scary word, but it's not the same as someone who's been newly diagnosed and is consistently receiving treatment for it. I'm fully and successfully living a great life. I just like to be upfront with my dates. That would not turn me off. If someone I started talking to unloaded an, "Oh, I have cancer, by the way," without any verbiage around it to explain where they're at, our brains immediately go to death. Control the narrative by putting more words around the diagnosis. When I started dating my boyfriend, I was upfront about my health. We both said early on, let's just see where this goes. When cancer popped up again for me this year, he was there for me, and he said that, if it were to come up again, we'd do it together. I just got a clean PET scan a week ago. Hang in there. Similar Conference 20 says. First, I'm so sorry to hear of your diagnosis. Second, I think the reason you're experiencing men taking off after hearing of your diagnosis is because they likely feel they've been catfished. That's a pretty big thing to navigate, and if not known upfront they may feel duped. Obviously it's your health and prerogative to tell who you choose, but I expect you'll continue to see this type of reaction if you wait to disclose. Are there cancer support groups that may also offer opportunities to find eligible partners also? That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.